Turning now to Detroit, we are 1 month into the school year, and Mayor Duggan has consistently said he doesn't want to run the city's school system, but he knows in order to make the city a place for families, that schools really have to be a priority here. The mayor is pushing his school reform plan in Lansing. He wants legislators to pay the DPS deficit that accumulated under emergency management. He wants to appoint a Detroit Education Commission to oversee public and charter schools. Okay, so I figured we are 1 month into school, and we still haven't heard any kind of movement coming out of Lansing and any kind of, all right, we're going to pick up this charge and we're going to deal with Detroit schools. We know that the mayor is lobbying a little bit in Lansing right now for this. Nolan, fill us in.
Well, I don't think anything's going to happen until he gets his roads issue settled, and then I'm not sure what's going to happen or what even can be done. I talked with John Ricolta this week, who did the finances for the Education Coalition, did the finance study, and he said the total debt for that district is more like $1 billion. You tell me where that money comes from. You can say, well, the legislature should provide it. This legislature is already going to be struggling to find $400 million or $600 million to pay for roads, plus another $200 to $400 million to pay for the Medicaid expansion. Next year, the year after that, it's going to continue to eat this budget. I don't know where that billion comes from. I think bankruptcy is looking like a better option for this school district all the time. It worked for the city.
Except that bankruptcy doesn't work the same for school districts as it does for the city. So what part of the debt do you feel like you could even restructure under bankruptcy? I
mean, there's a lot of debt owed on bond sales that you might be able to get out from under. I mean, you've got to start bringing down that debt. And so if you can't do that, what do you do? Because the state doesn't have $1 billion to help you.
Well, okay. Well, this is the big disappointment here. The big disappointment was last December when they put this coalition together and said, you know what, we don't have a lot of time here, so we need this group of people, 35 people, to get together and come up with the best comprehensive solution. And again, stakeholders from everywhere in a month. Okay, we need you to do this so you can deliver a plan, and so then the governor can come out a month later and say, well, I'm kind of with what the coalition found, but here are sort of my ideas, so we can make something happen here. And so you tell parents in the city of Detroit, we're working on something and we're going to get to a solution. Can you tell I get a little hot about this? And so then you have an entire summer go by and you send kids back to school with the hope and the thought that some kind of comprehensive plan is going to move forward, either one way or another. And it's October, friends, and we're sitting and we're waiting, and roads still aren't done.
And if that number was down again, I mean, it's just going to
there'll be another hole.
So I've got a problem with the timing then. So Stephen, talk to me about then what people can expect then from this.
Well, I think Nolan's right. There's nothing's going to happen up in Lansing until you get a roads package. The governor's not going to focus on this until at least then, and who knows what else is in front of.
Well, they got to see how much money they have to
priority
do.
list. So I think that the path forward on this actually, because you're never going to resolve the argument over Detroit schools. It's just too hot. It's just too thickly layered with race and class and all these other things that people do not want to deal with. I think you have to put this in the larger context. If you look at the problem that they're talking about, that they have in Detroit schools, is common across almost every district in the state. I mean, you can go to suburban districts that on paper are in good shape and find the same kind of long-term liabilities that they are not going to be able to afford. I think one possibility here is to start talking about statewide solutions to this problem. That should include not just coming up with the money to pay for those liabilities, but also let's talk about how many school districts we have and why we have that many and how that contributes to the problem. Let's talk about the way we pay for schools in Michigan. Proposal A is 21 years old. It was a fine idea when we had it, when we did it in 1994. It doesn't really work as well as it should right now because of the massive financial reset of the last 8 years. We've got to deal with all of these things together, and I think that's actually a more responsible way to deal with it, because if you just do it for Detroit, you're going to have to do it for lots of other districts on a one-off basis anyway.
But you say come up with the money as if it's just a matter of, oh gosh, let's just spend the money. I mean,
no, I don't.
We had a discussion a minute ago about infrastructure. The infrastructure's needs in this state top $10 billion easily.
I'm not minimizing that.
And now the school debt is, the pensions across the board are underfunded. And bringing them back will take billions of dollars, and you start thinking about where that money comes from and these problems, and you can see why we haven't had answers to these problems. The problems are so big and the amount of money needed so high.
Because we've waited so long.
We have, but still, that doesn't change the fact that there's no place to go to get that much money.
Yeah, well, you know, I make the argument though that we can't afford to wait. We can't. Pot is that legalized pot?
Legalized pot.
Make it all go away.
That's an easy thing to say. We can't afford to wait.
We can't afford to wait.
Where do you get the money?
I don't know, but you got to prioritize something along the way. All right, we got 15 seconds, so wrap it up.
Well, the reprioritization is what I was going to talk about. We got to start spending money in a better way, a smarter way on things that matter, and stop some of the other things that we're doing. Prisons. Why we spend $2 billion a year on that?
You can take $500,000,000 out of.
And we'll see. And we'll have to.
That solves just a little bit of.
We'll have to crunch the finances next time on MiWeek. That's going to do it for us. Go to MiWeek.org right now for MiWeek. After the show, we're going to continue to talk about the week's headlines. It's something you won't see on TV. Find us on Facebook. Find us on Twitter. We are there. We want to hear from you. I'm Christy McDonald. We will see you next time for MiWeek. Take care.